I need everybody to look at this right here. So what this is our next project we're starting. It's called All About Me. So anyway, if you look at the top left, you'll see where I met my wife 25 years ago in art class. Oddly enough, she's an art teacher as well. She's an elementary art teacher, and for a lot of years, I was a high school art teacher, and then got into the digital world and the media art stuff. So there's a lot of cool things that you can do with that. I used to do a lot of paintings, and I did ceramics and all this cool stuff. So I'm artsy fartsy like that, like the band, and I played the trumpet and played some sports and things like that. So I'll probably add that as well. The one on the top says, I've got 2 kids and a dog. And you got me. I just stayed with the Bitmoji theme. You can do the same as well. I'm going to put this outside my class. When we get back to school, for those that are still in my class, we might use this as a fundraiser to create this for other teachers. So if you get really good at it, this is going to be really cool. The top one on the right, I've been in education for 23 years. And these are the places that I've taught Campbellsville, Danville, and Marion, and then now at Crawford, Fayette County. My 4 favorite teams are the Bengals, the Yankees, the Wildcats, and the Lakers. And I like Oregon as well, but I just only had room for 4. So if you notice, the theme there is every box or every shape has got a big number. And I did some cool things there. The bottom left right here is where I went to school. I played football at Campbellsville University, and then I went to EKU and I've got 3 degrees. I got an undergraduate degree, and a couple other degrees from EKU. So been in school for a long time, and so it's always good to grow. So that's the process of our next project. Now, how does this work? So I want everyone to go to the shared folder and I want you to go to Shared with Me. Everybody go to Shared with Me. And then I want you to type in 6-761. And you're going to notice you have all these folders open. Okay. You're going to click on 6-761, All About Me. Now, there's nothing in there. Intentionally, I didn't put anything in there. Okay, now, I want to show you something. Let me go back to what we're going to do. We're going to have a JPEG anyway, so this is the file. Okay, so what I need you to do is I need everybody to, you can copy this, make a copy of this. So basically just click on it and make a copy. Do that right now and then rename it like my name is. Put your last name, first name. Make a copy of my JPEG, and it needs to be labeled exactly like mine, except your name. Last name, first name, All About Me. Do that now. Everybody make a copy right now. .com. What you're going to do is go to Pixlr E. Now notice you can go to Pixlr E to Pixlr X, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay. To open up your the JPEG that you have, then what you need to do is you need to click on your file, and you need to download it. Click on download. See that right there? You can click on download, and it'll be in your downloads on your recents. So to pull it into Pixlr, you can open it up. And of course, mine's into downloads, and then it opens it like that. Okay, it opens it like that. So just real quick, you're going to download your copied JPEG file from the shared folder, All About Me. Then you are going to open pixlr.com/E. Okay. The JPEG file. I'm sending this just to Matthew, so let me send it to everybody. All right, that's what we need to do, and this is where we're at. All right. So I'll give you everybody a second, and then you're going to go to Pixlr and check and click on Pixlr E, and then open the image, and then you can just go to recents. Okay, in my case, I just went there. So that's where you should be. All right, anybody got any questions? Raise your hand if you got a question before I move on. I'll share the Zoom with you. Once you get to this point, you're going to hit the, if you're in Pixlr, you're going to hit the paint bucket. Okay, and you're going to change different things. Now, if you want to change the thing in the middle, the circle in the middle, you can change the circle in the middle. I'm going to change it to like a lighter blue tone, and I would recommend to stay with lighter tones. Okay, all you got to do is click on it and change it. So down here where the circle is on the left where the tools are, you can just go to your color picker and you can pick like different types of tones. Like I'm going to stick with pastel colors today. All right, just because I've been doing a project for several days with different classes, and so I'm going to go with pastel type colors. So you can go with your color picker. You can come down here and do some different ones here, you know, if you want to match. I would be careful about going too dark. All right, so let me go to orange and throw some orange in there. I'm going to leave white there. Actually, I'm going to do a little off-white. So a little off-white there. All right, cool. So you want to continue this process and work through it. All right, let me go with a little lighter tone there. That's like a gray. And if you notice, it just kind of really works together. You know what I mean? I really like it. And I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to make the center circle white, and then I'm going to move around and make, go with like a little aqua color there on the, there you go. So you can kind of figure out how you want to do it. You could do your primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, orange, green, and violet, some of your secondary colors, some of those things like that. So now we're going to kind of get into color theory and things like that. So continue this process and work with it. I'm going to hold up for a minute until this as a module to help you. So this is also going to be where you're going to place, I'm going to call it Unit 3, All About Me, add module. Let's open it up. And then this is going to be our assignment. That's our new assignment. We'll call it put All About Me final here. I'm going to indent it. And then remember, this has got to be, when you're done with it, it's got to be a JPEG. So I'm going to make this 25 points like we have before. And this is an online submission. And I'm going to restrict the file to a JPEG. Okay. And I'll put the due date, we'll say next Wednesday or next Thursday. How about that? Okay. Save and publish. All right. So let me go back to my Pixlr. So we're going to continue this process. Okay. So I'm in Pixlr E, and let me finish my color scheme here. Let's get a little darker green. And then what do I need left? Let's go with a blue tone here. More of a blue. All right, so you see that process. I've got my whole schematics of my color going. Okay. Does anybody have any questions at this point? I'm checking the group chat. Raise your hand if you got a question, if you need more time. And then before we leave, I've got one other thing we're going to do. Here's the next part of the demonstration. We have made all the changes that we need. And remember, when you're working with Pixlr, you're going to see where it says pixlr.com/E. You can go back and forth, or you can go X to E. So basically what I'm going to do, this is the example that I used. Remember, you can go to the paintbrush and make any changes you want. Use some of your shortcuts like Control Z and so on and so forth to undo. Very similar to what we did before. So this is where we start to use, go back and forth between Pixlr E and Pixlr X. In this case, for me, it's easier just to use Pixlr X to create our text, and that's the whole process. So there's Pixlr X right there. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one up that has my name in the middle. If you notice there, I placed my name using the text option. And I'm going to go back one more step just to show you how to do this process. So we are in Pixlr X, or need to be in Pixlr X. And if you notice, if I go between E and X, you still have those files that are there. So I'm going to click on that, click on the text, and add new text. Now it starts off as a default as white, and it starts as Arial. So I'm going to go ahead and put my name, or in this case, you all put your first and last name. I'll just put Mr.Mcguire, and I'm going to change the font. Now here's the cool part of it. You go in here and there's all kinds of fonts that you can use that are really, really cool. Now I'm going to go ahead and resize that so I can drop that in here. But if I drop it in there, obviously you can't see it. So let's go and change the color. So let's change it to something that will be good contrast for the white. And there it is. Now here's a lot of cool things you can do as well. You can change the center alignment. You can do uppercase. You can do lowercase. Well, I'll go ahead and do uppercase right now. Another thing is you can add the size right there. You can do your line spacing. So if you want your line spacing to overlap, if you want it to be really wide, in my case here, it just depends on like what you're in the mood for, what creativity you're looking to do for the project. If you notice, if I go wider with the letter spacing or the tighter letter spacing, I would recommend going a little bit tighter with your letter spacing so you can make your words a little bit larger. So I'm going to go a little bit larger, and then I'm going to resize that. And let me go back and make that a little bit smaller because I want that to fit. You know, it's okay if it overlaps like that. I like that too. And then also you're going to use your arrows if you need to. So I've got that set up right there. So it works really well. I like that. I mean, you can even come in here and change. There's all kinds of things you can do with this. So I'm going to leave Mr. Mcguire right there at the beginning. Let me put, there it is. All right, so I'm going to leave it uppercase. So here's the next step. When you go to your other boxes, you're going to do this exact same thing. So remember, every box needs to have a number. So for example, I put 25 years right here, where 25 years ago where I met my wife. Okay, so that's the 25 that I'm going to use there. Then I'm going to add another text. Say, I'm going to say met my wife. Okay, then I'm going to resize that. And remember, you can use the arrange tool. You can use the crop tool. You can all kinds of different things you can do with it just to move things around. By using the arrange tool, that'll allow you to arrange everything. And what I just closed out, there's going to be some. The bad thing about Pixlr is it's web-based and it's free. So anything free, it's going to have some advertisements and things like that. So when you go back, you always click on your text so that you can change your size for it to match. So you know you want it to be small enough to match, but large enough to be visible. So another cool thing here, like I'm going to leave it white. You can add a shadow box, a shadow. And the cool thing about that is you can blur it out. You can have the vertical position a little bit longer, a little bit wider, horizontal position. You can make it darker. And if you notice, see how it's darker right there. And then you can even change the color of your background shadow. So you notice I went from orange to black. You can go darker orange, you know, and that really adds to that pastel technique there. that I'm doing. All right, so the next process that I'm working with is you're going to start adding Bitmojis or whatever the case may be. Now, this is a case where you can take pictures, you can do different things. For in my case, if I wanted to add a Bitmoji and I've got this set up, say I'm going to add this right here, I can, or whatever the case may be. So if you want to, now this is when you need to go back to Pixlr E. And now watch how this, I'm doing this. I'm just changing the X to the E. And you notice everything that I've done is there. Okay. So I'm going to choose Pixlr E and open it up. And this is where you can add other types. This is more like Photoshop per se. I mean, you can add texts here. It's a little bit different on the texts with Pixlr E than it is Pixlr X, you know. So if you wanted to insert an image, you can insert an image. If you want to add a text layer, you can add a text layer. There's a lot of different options that you can do. There's your text layer. So if I wanted to add an image, I'm going to click on the plus sign. Let me show you one more time. I'm going to click on the plus on the right and click image. You know, so let's say I wanted to add, let me find an image. Say I want to add this right there, and that added that right there. So let's say I want to put that, let's say this box right here is all the logos that I've created. So that's one that I'm going to use there. Now, one thing that I want you to see, and we've worked with this on a regular basis, we've worked with uh, Remove BG. Well, the cool thing about Pixlr, it's got its own Remove BG. Okay, so if you wanted to open an image and you had something that you wanted to remove, like for example, you know, let's try this one here and see if I can get it to work. And it opens, and then it should remove the background. Now here you see where it says machines are doing the work. Please wait. So it might take some time, but see there it is, and it changed the background from that image. So there's a lot of things that can be done, a lot of things you can use for that process to create each box in your All About Me. So let's go back one more time and look at the one that I'm doing that I was working on. So what I'm going to do is you need to have whatever theme, every box or every shape needs to have a theme. Like for example, this is I met my wife 25 years ago. This is my logos. You can have your favorite teams, your favorite teachers, but you need to also identify each shape with a number. Okay, for example, 25 years I met my wife. Or if I put 5 or 6 logos here, I would have the number 5. Your name goes in the middle. Every shape needs to have a different color, and so on and so forth. So when you get done, and here's the cool part, you click save and you go last name, first name, All About Me. You're going to leave it as a JPEG, remember, because if you don't leave it as a JPEG, then it won't submit into Canvas. You're going to go 100% because you want it highest quality as you can, and you're going to click download. Okay, and then there it is. There is that downloaded file.